Hi everyone and welcome back. Okay, in this tutorial what we're going to do is we're going to set up a button so that when the user clicks on the button we actually change the styling for these cities. But how we're doing it is we're actually changing the CSS class associated with the unordered list. So I'll show you what I did and then we can do it together. What I did first of all was I created a style sheet. I called it style.css and we have two classes here. We have a blue text class and a red text class. Obviously in the blue text class I just set the color to be blue, and in the red text I just set the color to be red. Okay, in the index.html file I've just linked to the CSS file. So I've said link rel is equal to style sheet, type is equal to text/CSS. I could have just said CSS, but old habits die hard, I guess. And then href is equal to style.css, i.e. the name of our style sheet. So this tutorial series is all about JavaScript, so no need for us to delve too much into CSS styling. But essentially what I did was, on the unordered list called European Cities, I gave it a class called blue text. So blue text is why, if I refresh, the text goes blue, okay? Then what I did was, in the JavaScript file, I just got a reference to the button. There's only one button, so I said document.querySelector button is equal to button. I used document.getElementById to get the European cities, and I stored it in the list variable. And then all I did was I said button.addEventListener. When there is a click, we run a function, and all we do essentially is just on the list, the European cities, I just set the attribute. I set the class, so what it is we're looking to change, so the name. And then what's the new value? Red text, okay? So I'm going to write all this code out again from scratch, but just to show you once again what we're trying to work up to. The text is blue, but if we click on the button, we change it to red, okay? And how we've done that is we've essentially changed the CSS class. So if I just delete this from scratch, we can start again. Okay, so now if I just save and refresh, we have blue text, but this does nothing. So let's write out our code together. Well, we know first of all we're going to need to get a reference to our button in our JavaScript file. Let me move the script file here. So I will say let button be equal to, so we could use query selector, or you could give the button an ID of button. I'll just say ID is equal to button. I think what I'll do is I'll just do two get element by ID. So we'll say document.get element by ID. And I'm just gonna copy and paste that below for the list. But essentially what we're doing is we're just going to get the button, okay? So let button be equal to document.getElementById. Awesome. Feel free to log out the button to the console just to make sure you've gotten it. Then we'll create a city list variable. I'll call it city list, and that's going to be equal to, well, this is why I copied, document.getElementById, and we're just going to paste in our ID of European cities. So far in this course, I would log, both of those out to the console just to make sure we've gotten them. But hopefully you're getting a bit more comfortable now with what we're doing. I'm hopeful this will work. So, I'm confident. So on the button, what we're going to do is we're going to say button.addEventListener. Okay. So what are we listening out for? Well, we're going to listen out for a user click. Okay. And then what we're going to do is when the user clicks on the button, we're going to run a function. But instead of using the function keyword, what we're going to do is just essentially do an arrow function like that. And then all we need to do is, on our city list, remember, when you're setting an attribute, you have to decide what element it is you're trying to change. Okay? So I'm trying to change the city list. And remember, city list is just a variable, but I've said document.getElementById European cities. So city list is actually the unordered list here, including the list items. So what I want to do is on the city list, I want to use dot notation to access the set attribute method, okay? And what I want to change, because remember you have to decide with set attribute, are you trying to change a link, are you trying to change a CSS styling, a class? So we're going to change the class. And then what do we want to change it to? What new value are we changing it to? Well, in the style sheet, we're going to change it to be red text. So we have our quotes, And then I just pass in red text and semicolon to end the statement. And now if I save and refresh, when I click on the button, the text goes red. Okay, awesome. So guys, that is how you can use the setAttribute method in JavaScript to change the class in the CSS file. I'll see you in the next tutorial.